Tonight's top story, who's going to be the next governor of North Dakota? Good evening and welcome to 630 Point of View. I'm Chris Berg. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, Telos Associates recently conducted a poll regarding the upcoming North Dakota gubernatorial race. I love that word. The poll surveyed 500 likely North Dakota voters, and it was conducted in mid-September. People were asked about several people that have been mentioned as potential gubernatorial candidates, and in this poll, they were specifically asked if they had a favorable or unfavorable opinion of these particular people and or persons. So here's some of the results we want to share with you tonight. Attorney General Wayne Stenjum had a favorable rating of 59%, with an unfavorable of 14%, and only 4% of the people polled did not recognize his name. Mr. Stenjum had the highest favorable number on the list, and he also was the most recognized person on the list. Now, another name on the list has been talked about, Joel Heidkamp from KFGO. Joel came in with a favorable rating of 35%, an unfavorable rating actually of 38%, says 36 here. But again, only 6% did not recognize Joel's name. A couple of interesting things to note about Joel's numbers. At number one, he had the highest unfavorable number, at least that was on the list. And he also was the second most recognized name on the list, which I thought was kind of interesting. So one last interesting piece I want to share with you here is this. When people were asked if an independent ran for governor, would you consider voting for that candidate? Obviously alluding to Doug Burgum possibly running for governor. Here is how the people responded. 62% said yes, they would vote for a potentially independent candidate. 16% said no, 19% unsure, 3% had no opinion. So kind of some interesting stuff there about voting for an independent candidate. The big challenge here for Mr. Burgum is that 41% of the people, which this was shocking if you obviously live in the Red River Valley, 41% of the people polled did not recognize Mr. Burgum's name. So bottom line is, what does all this mean? And obviously, why is North Dakota's gubernatorial race being pulled so early for North Dakota politics? We'll answer that question and much, much more. The president of Telos Associates, Todd Reisenauer.
Hey,
thanks for being here, man.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me here.
Caused quite a stir with this poll.
Well, we did, and you know, Telos by nature it's not a political polling firm. We're not trying to play pundits. We are a market intelligence firm. And so our objective as an organization is we realize that there's a gap out in North Dakota for data. And that goes down to for consumer behavior, voter attitudes, you know, what's going on in Western North Dakota with the economy. So those are some of the broad set issues that we take a look at and do research.
So
and
let
really
me
go
ask you
below
this.
the
So
surface.
why should we trust your numbers? Because we all know the Forum used a marketing firm out of Iowa when they were doing the U.S. Senate race with Senator Heidkamp and Rick Berg. They were way off on their polling numbers. We used an actual polling firm. Yep. We were very, very close on the numbers.
Yep.
Why trust what you're doing?
Well, because it's a very good question. The concepts are the same, whether it be consumer behavior and be able to track that with opinion surveys or you know, for-profit. Target, for example, you can't buy something without getting a survey on your consumer behavior. So the concept is the same. It's just we turn this more into a telephone interview. And one of the things that we're able to capture through the use of technology, through the use of efficiency, is to do these surveys very quickly and to do them in a way that captures the moment. So, you know, you're looking at a very, very small sample in time, and we do that with technology. We use all, you know, web-based systems. We train our reps on how to ask the question, so they're not wasting a lot of time. They're not using words that people
So
find
how many
confusing.
polls have you done specifically? Two?
We've done two that we've released publicly. Yeah, one was a MNDAC. Upstream Coalition poll that we had completed, and then this one was one that we commissioned. I just wanted to make sure everybody's clear on that. This is a survey that we commissioned ourselves internally.
And I want to get to that in just a moment. There was a quote here, obviously, from SayAnythingBlog.com. Rob Ford, if we can bring this up, please. And we're going to kind of go through these one by one. But this is a piece he had. He said, hey, it's clear to me, as I wrote in the post yesterday, that the Telos polling is about manufacturing certain narratives which Democrats want to promote. If this were a straight-up poll, the people behind it would be shooting straight about who paid for it, and they'd be providing with a full polling report, including details about methodology end results. You've now released this, but so let's kind of take this one by one. You released this thing apparently Monday morning to Joel Heitkamp, well-known Democrat. Yep. He was the only one, as far as we know, that had those results. And then obviously you come out going, hey, this is great, independence. You know, everyone wants to vote for an independent, which obviously makes people say, hey, you're going to split the vote, give Democrats a chance to actually win in North Dakota. You say what to that?
That's a great for political pundits to play that game. That's not what we're doing. We're looking at data.
But then why release the poll only to Joel Heitkamp?
So we're a startup firm. And just to take a step back here, where I come from, I ran for a political campaign as a Democrat in 2014 on the Public Service Commission. That was the race I ran in. And during that time, what was always missing from me is a data set, a full data set on where are the people at, what do they care about. I mean, I had a sense, and I knew I ran on pipeline oversight, train safety, and broadband internet for hub areas like Fargo.
I get it, and just to be respectful of you, and I got a minute left, so I want to be quick.
And I totally understand it. So we took a step back and did a completely objective look at,
But then why release it to a known Democrat?
So we spent the weekend trying to figure out what's the next step with this. We're an unknown political market intelligence firm, and we made a decision. We made a business decision to get it to the widest audience that we can in the shortest amount of time. And that's what happened. And there was no.
Wait a second.
Absolutely.
The guy ran as a Democrat. I'm going to release it to this person.
Absolutely.
As a Democrat.
That's why we.
So looking back,
released
would
the
you make a different
methodology.
business decision?
I'm here. I'm talking to you. I don't know if that
4 days later,
happens.
3 days later.
Yep. So we're getting a lot of attention, and we're not trying to play political. This might be the last political survey that we do.
But what I'm saying is, can you understand how people are perceiving it that
Absolutely.
way? Okay.
Absolutely.
So let's move on to this. You said that you guys paid for it. You're obviously a for-profit business, correct?
Yep.
So why commission your own poll?
To grab a segment of data that nobody has done before. Nobody has put out information on the likelihood or the potential impact that independent candidate would have in this race. We also wanted to look at who's the true front runner in this race. Is it Stenjum? Is it Wrigley? We found out very clearly who that was. And the other thing we want to mention, just to show how this is an unbiased poll coming from a Democrat, Democrats are completely off the radar in this race.
Which I think only leads to, hey, now that we can show that there's a lot of independents that want to vote for an independent potentially, now maybe we'll get some more. I mean, I guess when I'm looking at it, did you look at this as a lost leader? And if so,
yes.
What's the long-term strategy from a business perspective?
From a business perspective, we want to get out our message that we're in the business of providing market intelligence, sound market intelligence that very few organizations offer in North Dakota. And I said that, like I was saying before, that comes down to what are my customers thinking? What is the behavior of consumers? How can a small policy nonprofit organization become more effective in reaching their funders, either the people that contributed to them, to how effective their programs and services are out in the state with health care, with affordability of housing, all of these issues. That broad set is really
But I guess that's my point. And why not, if we don't want to make this look like, hey, this is partisan, why not then release it to obviously everybody and the full methodology? Because you only released some methodology on Monday to a known Democrat pundit, and it looks like, man, we're just trying to create a storyline here.
And to some extent, your perception on that is true. We were out there to market this poll.
Okay, but my point is then why, if you're going to do that, why not get it to the widest audience possible rather than
And we did that to the widest audience, to Joel Heitkamp at 9 o'clock on Monday morning.
All right, then you need to talk about some actual numbers of audience, okay?
Fair point.
If you're being told that, then we'll chat about audience. I'm not saying that to anything else other than maybe we'll have a marketing conversation as well. But thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. If you do something like this again, let us know, and we'd love to have you on and talk more. I think the numbers are very valuable. I just don't understand why you're sponsoring it, but that's a conversation for maybe another time, okay?
All right. Well, thank you, Chris.
Thanks, man. When we come back, it's going to be our Bison breakdown. Obviously, huge win last Saturday against UND, but also coming up next Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, SDSU, the Jackrabbits, they look tough. And the Bison got to go down there for a night game. Beth Poole joins us right after this.